Hey everybody, it's time for your weekly or monthly Cap'n Kirk show. Today, I'm here, Cap'n Kirk, and we've got your favorite podcastees, Curb Stomp,
Hi.
Rick,
Hello.
and Mr. Porter.
Hello.
And our guitar solo that just played before our show was done by a local guy named Chris Godby, and he's awesome for letting us use his great guitar lick. But we hope he doesn't lick his guitar too much. Anyways.
Be a real guitar licker.
Yeah. Don't know if he's going to like that now.
Graduated
He's not
from...
going to let us use this song anymore.
Well, he was a pot licker.
I don't get it.
He was a pot licker and then he switched to a guitar licker.
Right.
We're in the Curb Stomp studio of America.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind.
Today we're going to talk about Imagine Dragons because they are actually the top band of... What year are we in?
2018.
I was going to say 2017.
I mean,
Then,
still
then I
technically
had
true.
in mind,
Yeah.
that's the year they were actually the top band of, was 2017. It could be Taylor Swift this year, because her album came out so late. It could be someone else. But anyway, top band of 2017, and they were also the top band of 2013. And we're going to start talking about them even before that. And they formed in Utah, and they were going to a little school there named...
BYU.
BYU.
Yep, Brigham Young University. And Dan Reynolds was there. He's their lead singer. And drummer Andrew Tolman was there. Somehow they met up. I've been trying to figure out how, but couldn't.
It's a small school. They know it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, there's only 30,000 people there. So they were walking through the halls. They saw each other. And one said, hey, I play drums. And the other one said, hey, I play guitar. Let's start a band. That's how it
Genius.
started.
That's how it started.
And I don't ever lie. And anyway, so Andrew Tolman knew a guy named Wayne the Wing Sermon, and he was from American Fork, Utah, which is near Provo. And he had gone to school at some big music school.
Berkeley? Was it Berkeley?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
We're going to go with Berkeley. And so he had gone to Berkeley Music School. And by the way, he's a close relative of my neighbor. So shout out to Joe and Lori Sermon. Then they needed a couple more people in the band. Andrew Tolman found Dave Lemke to play bass and Aurora Florence to play piano. So then they did their first song called... No, it was an EP called Speak to Me. And the Andrew Beck guitar player left and Florence left. Tolman recruited. That's when he recruited Sermon from Berkeley. No wonder I didn't know. And Tolman recruited his wife, Brittany. So now we had the working band that actually started doing their first song that was a hit. And let's hear a little clip of that song right now.
I don't ever wanna let you down. I don't ever wanna leave this town. 'Cause after all,
The cool thing about this song is I was like, I've never even heard that song. I just saw the title. I don't know what it is, but as soon as it's playing, then
you
I was
knew
like,
it.
oh yeah, I know this song.
And you're like, I've heard this song about 8,000 million
times.
times.
That's the
8,000 million, that's a number.
song. It is.
There's been a lot of these I've been listening to, and I didn't realize it was them. Just forgot, didn't let it sink in. I was just casually listening and not paying attention to the names on the pop stations.
I feel like this one was in like a lot of commercials.
Yeah, I believe this
Yeah.
did pop up. Several of their songs have been on some commercials.
A lot of their songs are commercials.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, they make jingles, I guess.
Yeah, I think Ford's had one on Top of the World, I think, where Ford had that one on.
Yeah, Believer's been in some.
They
Thunder's been
they
in
get
some.
paid good, I hear from that.
Time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger than that. I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Now don't you?
So anyway, they started out in Provo, and they got a really big following. They would do little concerts all over the place in Provo, and they were kind of known as the local band, and everybody liked them. And Dan Reynolds was from Las Vegas, and he got them to move back to Las Vegas and start performing there. And they would, back in the early days, they didn't have very many songs, so they would do covers of a lot of different bands, really good covers. And I heard once that they played a 6-hour gig in Vegas that was almost all covers.
That explains all their kinds of music being so good, tight, every style.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't recognize their music each time I heard them played.
Because it's so different.
It's so different, and I just didn't connect the group till now. We did this, and I went and listened. I went, oh, and listened to them in headphones. It's tight music, really clever stuff. Yeah, their
So-
musicianship really shows why they rocketed to the top so fast, I think.
So
lyrics,
anyway,
too.
back in 2012, that's when they were working at O'Shea's, and they would do 4 nights a week there. And it was a little club on the strip. So I was going to talk a little bit about these guys. Although they started in 2008 and had an EP called Speak to Me. In 2009, they had an EP. There were no hits, and in 2010, they had Hell and Silence, and in 2011, another EP called It's Time. Now that is when It's Time did not start being a single and getting commercially successful. Then they finally did an album in 2000. No, they did Continued Silence, and that had It's Time on it. But that wasn't their first studio album. I told you, my notes suck. All right, their first album was Night Visions, and I don't know if It's Time was on it or not.
It was.
It was.
Was it? Okay, good. And so It's Time had been on their earlier EPs and was starting to get well known before Night Visions came out. Night Visions also had the song that made them huge called
Radioactive.
Nice. And it also had another song after that. Can anybody guess what their next song was? I'll give you a clue. Demons.
Oh, I was going to say Demons, but I wasn't 100% set on
She
it.
was afraid of being wrong.
Didn't
but-
want you guys to kick me out for being wrong.
Yeah. We're kind of to 2011 or 12, and after they had, they actually, let's go back to 2009, and they had their first big break. We've all heard of Train, and their singer, Pat Monahan, got sick, and they had a concert called Bite of Las Vegas Festival in 2009, and that is when Imagine Dragons had to fill in for them, and there was 26,000 people there, and that was actually their first big break where they
Bonus.
got kind of discovered.
Yeah, that
And
handy. Nice.
that was
26,000
nice.
people. That's not a handful.
yeah, and they were already getting pretty big but after that, there's, Las Vegas is a pretty big place with all these different newspapers and stations, and they were just really getting well known in Las Vegas at that time. So then in 2011, they actually signed with Interscope Records. They had an English Grammy-winning producer, Alex da Kid, and that's when the Tolmans left the band and Dan Platzman came in to replace, along with Teresa Flamingo. And later Flamingo left, so that just left the original, the four that we have now. So that first album had that huge hit, Radioactive. Let's play a clip of it.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals.
Whoa.
Let's have Mr. Porter sing Radioactive.
Sound just like him. It's
Demons.
amazing.
Demons.
Demon
That's the
inside you.
demons in Mr. Porter. So probably nobody remembers that song. It was.
What, this song?
It hit the radio 4 years ago.
Everyone remembers
I
this
And they're
song.
It's one
still
of the ones
playing
I
it.
remember the most.
Yeah. They know the song. Oh, they know it. It's
Seriously,
radioactive.
I think I heard this song like last week on the radio, and I was like, really? Still?
Yeah, no kidding. In fact,
That's what I like them to do, is actually play a little bit of the older stuff instead of all new.
Like, I like the older stuff, but maybe if I hadn't heard it.
Every day.
So, yeah. Every day, 8 times a day. It's a good song.
I'm going to call them up and tell them not to play it so much because Curb Stomp's getting
Yeah.
pissed. If they want Stomp,
I'm going to turn off the radio.
So anyway, the Imagine Dragons say that their band's main goal is to reach people with music that is beautiful at the core in melody, lyrics, and structure. And Dan writes the lyrics from a very personal place, and if you ever listen to the lyrics very close, you'll see they're quite deep. And they say they just want to make a person's hard day better. And Curb Stomp, you were telling me what their name means. It's an anagram.
Oh, yeah, but only they know what it means. So secret.
I know. You have to be in the band to know. But what if you leave the band, don't you want to sell the secret?
Oh, yeah,
I would.
totally, I would.
Yeah.
Make some money.
I think they made them be blood brothers and swear that
Probably.
they can't tell.
Yes.
Maybe not everyone's as greedy as me. when sell their
Yeah.
souls for money like I would.
Rick's pretty greedy.
Yeah, I am there.
All right, so they did their first album, and they were touring for a little band named Muse. Probably nobody remembers that either.
Who are they?
Yeah.
And really, I can only think of a couple good hits they had. But they were touring for those guys. All of a sudden, they were just huge. And they finally had to say, hey, we can't be your front band. We have to go on our own. So they went on their own tour, and they toured for like a couple, 3 years while they were kind of getting their album. Because like Radioactive came out before the album hit too. And their tour lasted quite a while. Finally, they got really burned out. They go, we're going to have to go on a little hiatus, and we're going to creatively work on our second album. And that's when, so they were at a place, I'm not sure where their last gig was, but that's what they told the people there. So then they really didn't have a hiatus. They had 50 demo songs. And they went to the studio and started figuring out what they were going to do. And it wasn't long, and they had their second album.
Didn't
And-
listen to any of it.
What?
I didn't listen to any of it.
It had 2 hits on it. When they got ready to release this album, they did kind of a weird thing in Las Vegas where they told everybody, like over the radio stations, to go out and look for things, and there was clues they left around, and people started figuring out that it had something to do with smoke and mirrors, and started wondering if that was going to be the name of the album. They finally released it in December 2014, and it had this little track on it, I Bet My Life.
So I bet my life, I bet my life, I bet my life on you. I bet my life.
I think I've never heard this song before in my life.
I bet your life that you have.
I have not, except for tonight.
I bet your life you heard this song.
Bet my life on you.
There's only 58 times.
We got involved in their second album, but we never played a clip from their huge hit from their first album called Demons. And that song is actually in the top 10 of the most downloaded songs ever. That and Radioactive are in the top 10, and they're the only band that's got 2 in the top 10.
That's
That's
So
amazing.
let's
Crazy.
play a little track of Demons so people can remember what it sounded like.
Yeah, all those downloads were by Mr. Porter, though, because the song is about him.
Kingdom come when you pull my key, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons.
Well, I know that because you were busy stalking Taylor Swift as we determined last
were-
time. I would have thought you might have downloaded
It wasn't
some.
stalking. We were dating.
We were dating. We still are,
I was
right?
dating her.
Oh, did you guys break up?
She broke up. I haven't yet.
I
So.
have not.
I'm waiting for a good song about that breakup.
There's several out there. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
It will go, I broke up with Rick and it feels so good.
He was a freaky stalker boy. No, that was what's that girl? Avril.
Avril.
Lavigne.
Yeah.
Instead of skater boy, it'd be stalker boy.
Oh, I like that. I bet
I
that
want
would
to
be
do
good.
a podcast on Avril Lavigne.
Yeah,
but-
and like her conspiracy theory that everyone thinks she's dead and they replaced her.
Wow.
She
that
has
not-
that? I've never heard that conspiracy
What?
theory.
Oh, whoa, so much to talk
That
about.
happened when she was like had Lyme disease and was losing her mind because she had a real struggle with Lyme disease.
I don't know, but it was like after her second album, maybe they're like thinking she actually died and they replaced her with like a poppier version. And that's why her music's so different now.
Yes.
All these things I read on the internet, they're just great.
The internet.
That'd be cool, except after she married Nickelback, then her music went way harsh. So I want her to get a divorce so we can have the old Avril back.
We want the old Avril
But
back.
that's a different band and a different podcast.
Yeah.
So
No more demons. It brings us off track.
Demons.
the demons were coming out. I mean, my heavens.
Demons.
We were all wishing sad things for Avril Lavigne.
No,
We
we
shouldn't
wanted
wish
happy
a divorce
things.
on anybody.
Well,
I don't know, Nickelback.
Yeah.
Anyways.
In this case, perhaps.
what is his name?
Nickel.
Something
Back.
Like Kroger or something?
I'll take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting this long, eh? Been holding it in for a while.
So I'm sorry, this is also from their first album. Cap'n Kirk really got things messed up, and he was on the second album way too soon.
Oh boy.
This is the greatest song I've ever heard.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. It is not the greatest song
But-
ever, but it's not bad. But it's
It
not
like
good.
brings up your spirits so much.
Yeah, because I'm on top of the world
It kind of
now, 'cause
pisses
we're-
me off, actually.
All right, well, reverse psychology for Rick.
It doesn't work for Rick, so
I only
we'll
like
have him choke
demons.
on water now.
Where's my water?
I don't know. I've about eaten this candy by myself.
I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, keep that candy away.
Well, anyway, On Top of the World has a really good video. It shows all the band mates leaving their families and except one of them, he just leaves on his motorcycle, so I figure he's got no family. And they go to a place, and it looks like they're gonna head into space, and they put space suits on, and it shows them blasting off, and then it shows them landing on the moon, and they're filming it, and it shows their families watching them on the moon, and they're all excited. But then the dude falls over right when he says, "One small step for man, one great step," and he falls over, and then he jumps up, and you see the sound. You see that they're just faking it. They really aren't at the moon. And
Also, like the real actual moon landing, they were just doing that.
They were, but they were faking it, and they had this elaborate thing, and everybody was supposed to think they were on the moon, and so it was kind of a jab at how some people think we didn't go to the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We didn't.
Kind of a cool little video for those of you that like videos. So here's another track from their second album that was pretty big called Gold. Mr. Porter likes it.
Yes, I did.
You're the only one.
I like the video anyway. Cool stage
First
lights.
comes the blessing of all that you've dreamed, but then comes the curses of diamonds and rings. Only at first did it have its appeal.
I feel like every song you have to headbang.
It's true.
Like just right along, you just have to.
What I like about this song is they're saying how everything you touch turns to gold, but then it turns out actually being a bummer. And they're saying, okay, everything's going so good. I've got all this money, all this gold, but I'm dying to feel again. It's like the curse of money. That's what I got out of this video.
I would
Do you
like
think that
curse.
there's a curse that goes with the money?
You know, I feel
met
like I'd
some
like
people.
to try it. I'd like
Yeah.
to try it.
Give me that curse, please. Please.
I can't imagine you being worse, but wow. Just kidding.
Just give me a little bit of money and I'll show you. I'll show you worse.
Okay. On September 27th, some more teasers started. I think this time it was on Twitter. And the teasers lasted from September 27th to 2016 to January 2017. Finally, people figured out what the name of their new album was going to be. And on February 1, it was released. And Believer was released as the lead single. Also, Believer was put in a Super Bowl ad for Nintendo Switch at about that time, because we're about to the Super Bowl now.
Mm-hmm.
And Eagles are going to win, surprisingly.
I hope they do.
Me too.
I'm so sick of
Anyways.
the Patriots winning.
And-
Oh, that Peyton, or what? Not Peyton. What's his name?
Tom Brady.
Holy cow!
Tom Brady.
Stop winning Super
The
Bowls,
problem
man.
with him is he's too dang good.
He
So
is.
true.
Yeah,
He's good. And he's good looking.
But
yeah.
And he's
and
good
his
looking.
wife's good looking.
From Brazil.
And they have cute
I
kids.
just about had enough of all that.
Yeah, I'm sick
Did
of
you
those
hear
people.
the
Can you
latest
have
thing that
everything in
happened?
life? Tom Brady does.
Piss ants and
And
whistle
it
asses.
wasn't.
What?
know,
Whistle ass.
I never heard that one.
That's one of my dad's favorites.
Your dad,
That was just like your family thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
your
That might have
dad
been.
truly was a classic.
Of course, now that gives us this podcast a reason to go viral.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whistle ass. To go
So-
viral.
yeah. Your dad
And
was a
then,
whistle ass.
especially once Rick plays us a song on his speaker.
Okay,
I better edit
so
that.
let's play a song right now.
play a
The lead
song.
single off of that album was Believer.
Also sung by Smash Mouth.
Oh, I hate that song.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, don't play the Smash Mouth.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh,
See,
So
we need to turn this into a total video because then they can see like Curb Stomp dancing to this.
I brought a
She's
camera.
a dang
but I
good
didn't get out.
dancer.
I know. I don't know where I learned
And
it.
they could
It's
see
good.
They could see that when I started talking about that one chick, she put her hoodie on,
that'd be good.
and I said, "Women."
That
with
sounds like
hoodies
something
are
Beyonce would
kinda
do.
Creepy.
Some cool dance with a.
That's
Pregnant.
me holding my pain.
Yeah, I saw that.
It only hurts in one spot.
And Curb Stomp is in
Work
pain.
that into the
And
choreography.
here's your pain.
I know. This is the best song for this.
So I want to make a parody
And
of
Curb
this song.
Stomp is now a believer. She's pregnant and she does believe it's a pain in the.
Everything.
Yeah. I was gonna say pain in the ass, but then I thought probably that's one. That's only towards the end.
Yeah. It's a pain in the everywhere.
I feel for you, but
But you don't.
actually, no, I don't. What I will say is the reason men can't have babies is we aren't tough enough. What women go through, we don't understand. Women are the bomb.
Feminism.
Yeah. Yep. This song has a great video. I don't know if anybody remembers Dolph Lundgren, but he was on James Bond. Really tough giant guy.
He's in a bunch of movies there for a period of
a lot
time.
of movies. Well, in this
Good actor, actually.
in
Yeah, I
this
thought he's better than
video,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dan Reynolds, the lead
That's
singer.
not hard.
Yeah, not hard. That's exactly right.
Sorry.
No, that's good. In this video, Dan Reynolds, the lead singer, is getting ready to box dolls.
He always looked kind of like Duke Nukem.
Well, remember Imagine Dragons, how big he is? You
Yeah.
told me. The
Yeah,
dude
he's a
is
pretty big
bigger
dude.
than life.
Yeah.
I don't know if
His
he's
performance, he looks
6'10".
like he really gets out into
Well,
the audience.
yeah, but
and
he's
really-
also huge. So he's
Oh, uh-huh.
getting ready to box this giant Dolph Lundgren, and it's really cool. And yet, then all of a sudden, he's just getting beat up. So the pain, they talk about pain. He's, it's showing the blood smack out of his face. He's getting beat up. So the music stops, and he says, I think I'd like to stop now. And Lundgren goes, nope, we can't. And just boxes him into Neverland.
This would be so fun to reenact with Rick.
I think so.
Just punch him
And
in
then
the
right
face.
at the
Oh,
very
wouldn't that
end,
be fun?
actually smacking into Neverland. Well, I believe this song is basically talking about how to get anywhere in life, you must have some pain. And I feel like Dan has had pain to get where he is. Yeah,
you're on a first
their
name
lead
basis with
singer
Dan.
Dan Reynolds.
Oh, cool.
Well, after this podcast, he will be calling me up and telling me how cool it was, and we will be friends.
Yes, with a cease and desist.
And I hope we're
Stop
friends.
talking about me.
Because if he wants to box me into Neverland, I'm pretty sure he could.
He could. You do look a little bit like Dolph Lundgren. That chiseled face. You look like you could
yes.
have made a
Yes,
good.
many women have said that I have a chiseled face.
Mainly your
As
mom.
they're
but-
pounding me into
Yes.
Neverland.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of looks like looks like a few knuckles
Mom.
already.
Shout out to moms.
And shout out to moms everywhere that have had to put up with their stupid sons.
They are the true believers.
I don't know why, but I guess it's got something to do with you. To do with you. I don't know why, but I guess.
Didn't think I was gonna
Tell
like
us
it.
the name of it, Mr. Coolio.
I don't know
DJ Rick.
why. I don't
Okay,
know why.
does anyone else think that this sounds like Stranger Things?
It does sound like strange.
And then he talks about strangers right there.
Yeah, so this is I don't know why. Rick was saying it, but I figured that I didn't know why he was saying I don't know why, and I'm like, what the crap?
I was telling you the freaking name of the song.
I love this track too, but I don't know why, but I didn't know its name was I don't know why.
I don't know why. I didn't know why.
When I started, I was like, this song is freaking weird. But then
And
I
it
was
is.
like, yeah, no, I like it. It grew on me instantly.
Rocking out.
I think all of these would be fantastic in concert. I think they'd just
they
be
would
over
be.
the top good.
Yeah.
They're also powerful. Like,
Yeah.
they're-
And they're,
I
but
mean,
like,
they
also
build
they're just
and
so
intenseness
different.
and so different.
You know
yeah.
what? My grandchildren went
very
to a
good singer,
concert
too.
of theirs in Boise
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 years ago when
Uh-huh.
they didn't have any songs.
Right.
And they were fantastic.
Yeah, I would believe that.
And
I can
now,
understand that it's.
And what performances I've seen of theirs, I'd love to see them.
I've
in
watched a couple of
concert.
those videos, and he comes out. You can see him coming out. He reminds me of Freddie Mercury, and in fact, I think this group is headed to be. They reminded me of Queen, not by their music style necessarily, but by their performances. They're just so huge. Everything, just 4 people. I mean, they're starting to be. I think they could stand
Well,
up.
like I
they
said,
could. They're up there with U2, starting to be with U2's type of
Billboard,
sounds.
with all their
Big,
statistics,
big.
has rated them. They rated them the top band of 2013.
Uh-huh.
That was their breakthrough year. Then the top band of 2017.
Plus, even if they don't get hits off these, I've noticed they're just. I mean, they're. The
Well,
whole
let's play track
even their
2
mediocre stuff is over the top.
Wait till you hear this.
Fantastic.
This is the one that should be a
Everybody
giant
waiting for
hit.
the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run. I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse.
This is Whatever It Takes.
It's a good one.
This is their 3rd single they've released. They released it last June, but literally, our radio stations are so slow to pick things up. This could be a big hit. They released Thunder last March.
Wow.
Didn't hit our radios till October.
That's called Rexburg.
No,
I mean-
I didn't hear it in.
I mean-
Rexburg.
I mean
No
the whole
way.
area
I
is
was
the
in
same. Rex,
Utah.
Seattle Falls.
I was
Oh,
in
even
Utah
Utah.
when I heard it. I was
Utah,
like,
Rex-
this is nice.
Utah.
It didn't hit here for quite a while after that.
Yeah.
By the way, we're from Rexburg and it's Podunk.
Kind of is.
I'm not from there.
She's not gonna claim Rexburg.
I don't
from-
claim that
Where you-
as my
where are you
home.
from?
We want you to
Montana.
move
Where are
to
you from?
Rexburg.
I'm from Montana,
Oh, I see. Where in Montana?
Billings.
Oh, cool. That's a rowdy town.
It's a rowdy town. So much better than Rexburg.
Yeah.
So
Casinos on every
Lots of-
corner.
lots
It's
of
like the New
miners.
Vegas.
Yeah.
I love you.
Kind of is. I'd forgotten about all that.
Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes.
They wanted to get the church to back it up, and they did. Did you see that in the
I was
little
reading
church
about
news
it.
thing? And Deseret News came out, and they
He
said
said
It
that
was
they
for
were all
the
right.
gay
Church.
thing.
Yeah, it was an LGBT thing he
Yeah.
was doing, and the church said after discussing it, they decided they were right. In fact, they sent a rep out to go to it too, and said that they were really happy with his ideas on.
There's more going than just
Bringing on the
He's
LGBT
done a
thing.
whole biography
Yeah, he's pretty.
about the LGBT movement in the Mormon Church.
Yes, he has,
and
and-
how they are getting shunned. And he's talked about suicides in teenagers.
Yeah.
And LGBT children are 8 times more likely to commit suicide.
Oh,
So
I believe
he's
that.
trying to get the Mormon Church to not shun these kids. And it's really interesting. And what he has said is, I'm not worth any more than anybody else, but I'm on a platform where someone will listen to me. So I feel like I'm not doing the right thing if I don't.
I'm glad somebody is speaking up on that. Well, not that he's the only one, but I noticed that the statistics are teenage LBGT girls
LBGT.
are really LBGT girls are suicides really on the increase faster than the others. It's abnormally on the increase.
Page 1.
Concerningly on the increase, in fact.
Yeah.
Play track 4, please, Mr. Spin It Man.
Mr.
I wish
Track
we
4.
had it on record. You could go. How do you do this?
No.
No,
That was poor. Usually you're pretty good.
Poor performance.
Darn it, I want the record sound. Somebody scratch the record, please. Yeah,
there you go.
I
There you go.
like
That was pretty good.
It's my high pitched voice.
Feel the wind in your hair. Feel the rush
So this is called Walking the Wire. It's not going to be a single, it doesn't look like. When you buy the CD, they tell you the 3 singles on it. And but it's a good song.
Yeah, I like it. I like it better when it gets more into the chorus kind of
Hurry
thing.
and get into it.
I know.
Come on, song. Rick, say something.
Something.
Nice.
Too far away, there's no way anyone heard it.
I told you that chair would be his detriment.
Now, when I say something, you don't listen to me.
He's walking a wire.
Yeah, this part is like really...
This is Rise Up.
I was hoping for an indication. I was seeking higher elevation. I've been shaking, waking in the
I like this where the dude is so good at the you know. He can rap, he can sing.
He can do it all.
He plays the drums. Like he'll be singing, all of a sudden he'll run over and do 2 or 3 pounds really loud on a drum. And you hear that in the studio recordings, you hear that part. And it's like on Thunder.
Oh, okay.
Thunder's really cool to watch him perform live.
Yeah, I like that part when it just like kind of gets into the meat of the song.
I know you don't understand the vices that follow a man. And in your eyes I can see the places that you'd rather.
This is I'll Make It Up to You. Is this the one that sounds like the 80s?
I think it is this one.
I
And
recognize
just, like,
it now.
Yeah, and I just was like, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, I love like kind of 80s sounding music. I wish they'd bring more of that back, because every time I hear one, I love it.
I love it too.
It's just like, I don't know.
We'll
But
do a
it's-
podcast on an 80s band.
Okay. It has to be one I listen to.
Good. We'll figure out what it
does.
is.
It reminds you of that. Can't remember that song. It'll come to me. I'll blur it in a minute.
I don't think that's the name of it. It'll come
If not.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Once
this one.
again, if you like, I would watch the videos, but on the side it has all the lyrics and it helps it. I would read those, and he's literally in this song saying, I'm really sorry for a lot I've done, but I'm going to make it up to you. And once again, I got the feeling that's the stage I'm at with my wife. I have done some messed up things, and she stood by me, and I'm going to make it up. You know, and he's saying that in this.
You remember that song, Mike and the Mechanics?
That's who it sounds like.
Kinda
Mike
does.
and the Mechanics. They had several hits.
Yeah, they did. They had a.
They were
full,
awesome.
They were. I love
They
them.
were a fallout.
I don't know
of
what's
Genesis.
happened to them.
Mike
Is that where they came from?
Came from Genesis.
Oh,
I'm
that
gonna have to
explains
give
a
them a
lot.
listen.
And then the Mechanics, they were car workers.
Oh wait, are you being serious?
No.
Oh.
But my wink was so messed up. It was like, I think something's in
I'm
my
so
eye.
tired.
The wink was so bad. It's like, was he winking or what?
Did he like blink weird?
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
He's twitching.
I'm afraid. Okay. But as you can tell, people, we're kind of giving you a preview. This is their latest album, Evolve, and we're not just doing the hits, we're letting you know this
We're
album,
evolving with them.
This album rocks. It's a good album.
I listened to it the first time today, and I'm already planning on listening to it some
All
more,
right,
'cause
Rick.
Here's to my future, here's to my yesterday. Here's to change, oh, here's to my yesterday. Oh, tomorrow.
Oh, this is the one I don't like very much, though.
All right.
But it kind of sounds like Queen.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
this is actually a track I don't like. Cut it off, Rick.
I wanna live a life like that. Live the life of the faithful one. Wanna bow to the flow with everybody else. Wanna be someone.
I like
Now
this
I
one,
like
though.
this, and this is a track 8. What are we on?
It's track 8.
And this is Mouth of the River. It's very catchy.
Yeah, I like this one. It's like almost tribal-y.
Yeah.
And now it's not tribal-y
That is
anymore.
not tribal anymore.
But it's really good. All right, now my favorite song. Let's play it. Track
Oh, yeah.
9.
This is a good one.
Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star.
This song is called Thunder, and it's the reason we're doing Imagine Dragons. Because when I mean, Believer was already out. It was a giant hit. I was visiting grandkids near Provo, where these guys came from. This song came on the radio. I'd never heard it before. By this point, I already knew it was Imagine Dragons. I was like, awesome. It doesn't sound like their other stuff, but I think it's them. And I was like, but these voices are weird. It's got this strange voice, you know, of these, I don't know if they're kids. I don't know.
I think I read that it's not a kid.
Okay, but here's the cool thing. Then I went to visit another granddaughter in Washington, or other grandkids. We're driving around. The song comes on the radio. She's sitting in the back seat. She totally imitated that first voice. There's 2 voices, and she imitated the first one perfect. And I just couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
this,
it's pretty
this
unique.
voice right here.
Thunder, 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 thunder.
She can do it. Her name's Hallie.
Call her.
She already knows. And then I was with her recently. I go, come on, you can imitate this. And she's like, I can't do it now. You got the
Too much
pressure on me. I'd already featured her on my Facebook page, the Cap'n Kirk Show, where I show songs or videos, whatever I think's good. And a long time ago, I put this video on there and talked about how she could imitate it, and she saw that. So now she's embarrassed, and now she's more embarrassed if she's hearing this. Anyway, the video of this song is very good. It's like filmed in the big city. I can't tell where. Maybe New York. The only color in it is like some moonbeams coming down, shining down, and it's like 3 different colors. And then all of a sudden it's all black and white, which I wish it wasn't. But I've decided maybe these strange contortionists came down in those, because they're wearing, everybody else is normal, and these people are wearing weird masks, and they're dancing to this song, but they're contortionists, and it's very, very strange. I love how he says, I was a young kid, not a yes sir, not a follower. He was lightning before the thunder. You know, he says, kids were laughing in the classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are, dreaming about being a big rock star? That song is about him, all the struggles. You know, he started writing when he was 13. So he was having people in his schools make fun of him. There's some of that pain we were talking about.
Yeah. I wish
But-
I could do cool things
Yeah.
at 13.
And
Too late for me now.
But apparently he was ostracized and he wasn't cool.
I know,
And
but
they were
look
all
at him
saying,
now.
and he was saying,
'Cause he is
wait a minute,
talented.
I'm going to be a rock star. And they were all like, you know, no, we're going to beat you up, dude. You're no rock star.
He was just writing down.
Yeah. So, anyway, there are 2 more songs on the album, but I don't really like them very well. We're running out of time, so we're not going to play them. But that's the good thing about music. If you listen to this album, you might like the last 2 tracks. They are different than the rest.
I like the next one, but
Do
I
you?
didn't like the last one very
All right, let's play the next
Well, you don't
one.
have to.
Start over.
I said it time and time. I know that I wanna try again. Can we start over?
It has a clubby sound to it, doesn't it?
Which is everything I liked on the T Swift album.
Hey, T Swift, she's smart. Hopefully she doesn't get snubbed at the Grammys next year, but hopefully this is... I think her album should have come out just a little bit later, so it was all 2018.
Yeah. She had to do the math, so it added up to... What's her number? I don't know. 13 or something. Like, she's obsessed with the number 13.
Is she?
Yeah, so, like, the date added up to 13.
Oh.
So...
All right. So...
See, what type of a song is that? Where's that come from? That's
I don't
that's
know.
darn near jazz.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's almost some sort of that's 80s. What do you? Let me think of what you'd call that. Barry Manilow borderline stuff. You know, very.
I don't know who that is. I mean, I've heard his name, but I don't.
Sure.
I don't know anything.
Well, what you're saying about the jazz is what's... I wanted to bring that up. You know, they just got...
You can tell the Berkeley School
nominated.
thing shows through. They would have learned all kinds of stuff out in there.
They just got nominated in the Grammys, the 2018 Grammys, for Best Pop Vocal Album and Best Pop Duo Performance. But then they were getting interviewed, and it was kind of before the main Grammy show. Mm-hmm. And they go, that's not going to be on the show, whoever won, and we've never heard anything. So we think we're big losers. And it was pretty cool how they said it. And they were. But the interesting thing was they were talking about how they're kind of genreless. They one time they'll be on a rock chart. They'll be on an alternative chart. Mm-hmm. In 2013, they were number one on the alternative and the rock, and high on the pop. That's why they ended up being banned of, Billboard said they were the biggest artist of the year. So that, jazz, they can do it all. Last week, they performed at a Fleetwood Mac tribute concert, and they believe that Fleetwood Mac, one of my old-time favorite bands, changed the music direction of the whole world.
I agree.
And they said without Fleetwood Mac, music wouldn't be like it is now. And so they also, I'll tell you other bands they like. They like Arcade Fire. That was an influence. Nirvana, Muse, The Beatles, Paul Simon, Coldplay, Harry Nilsson, and U2. And here you go, the last two. Tupac and Biggie. So that's why every once in a while, like on that Whatever It Takes, he's rapping.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So these guys, they've had many awards, but only one Grammy, but they were on the Billboard Hot 100 87 weeks. That's the longest that anybody's ever been on the Hot 100. Wow. And like I said before, they've got 2 songs in the top 10 most downloaded songs in rock history. And those are those earlier songs. Give it a little more time, they're going to have Thunder in there and Believer.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine Dragons is a very artistic band. That's why I'm glad we did a podcast on them. I hope we did them justice. I hope Brother Dan Roberts will be calling me up, not wanting to punch me out of the... I've seen now he's a good boxer. I don't want punched out.
I don't want punched out.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to our podcast. Thanks, Curb Stomp, for your input. You're awesome as always. Mr. Porter is our sound production man. And
Pleasure.
his comments are always awesome. And Rick, the innovator of this whole podcast. We wouldn't be if it weren't for Rick and his brainstorming
His futuristic
And
genius.
he does love caramel M&Ms also.
I have made myself quite intoxicated on them.
And now our sign-off, wonderful guitar lick by our great guitarist, Chris
By a great
Scott.
guitar licker.
But he's not a pot licker.